Right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Kundun, 1997. Give this 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this flick. Kundun is a 1997 U.S. epic biographical film written by Melissa Matheson and directed by Martin Scorsese. Oh boy. Listening to Martin Scorsese and the producer, writer on the bonus features was real torture. I mean, really torture. Scorsese thinks that the Dalai Lama is equivalent to Martin Luther King or Gandhi in terms of nonviolence promotion, which I thought was a characteristic of the Libertarian Party or the libertarian principles. Not the Tibetan Buddhism. In fact, at one point in the movie, the Dalai Lama says that socialism has a lot in common with Buddhism. How is that nonviolence? And does Martin Scorsese even know that Gandhi was racist against black people, similar to Abraham Lincoln? He's so stupid. He's like one of these people with driving around here in the San Francisco Bay Area with their Free Tibet bumper sticker right next to the Free Palestine bumper sticker. All right. It's based on the life and writings of Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama, the exiled political and spiritual leader of Tibet. Tenzin Thuthob Sarong, a nephew of the Dalai Lama, stars as the adult Dalai Lama. He just blinks his eyes and gives a blank. He has a blank expression through the last half of the movie. While Tencho Gyalpo, a niece of the Dalai Lama, appears as the Dalai Lama's mother. Now, she's hot, but she doesn't get naked. So this film is PG-13. It just has some gory scenes in it. The dude who gets eaten by buzzards. Vultures. He gets eaten by vultures. That's the Buddhist teaching. So I'm going to go on a rant against Buddhism here. Just like I did with the message when I went on a rant against Islam. Partly because of what my son told me about Islam, Muhammad and his 5 wives or whatever. However many wives. How many wives did Muhammad have? He had 11 wives. Muhammad. And this Dalai Lama is such a wuss. If I was sitting next to Mao Zedong, the greatest mass murderer in the history of humankind, I would have killed him with a knife or a gun or something. That's the only thing he understands. Mao said all political power comes from the barrel of a gun. So if you want to talk to Mao, you better stick a gun to his head and pull the trigger. That's the only thing he'll understand, okay? Kundun, Skew Mindun in Tibetan, meaning presence, is a title by which the Dalai Lama is addressed. Kundun was released only a few months after 7 years in Tibet sharing the latter's location and its depiction of the Dalai Lama at several stages of his youth through Kundun, though Kundun covers a period 3 times longer. So it had a budget of $28 million. Lamestream, big budget, Hollywood Disney movie. Touchstone's Pictures. And it had a box office of only 5.7 million. So nobody really cared about this movie. Nobody cares about the Dalai Lama. Only Martin Scorsese and his Hollywood political lefties care. And the funny thing is, Martin Scorsese grew up as a Catholic boy, and he dedicated the film to his mother. A Buddhist film, a Tibetan Buddhism. I don't know why these Hollywood weird people have a Tibetan Buddhist fetish for the Dalai Lama, who tells us that socialism has a lot more in common with Buddhism. I guess he's referring to Mao Zedong's brand of socialism, which means killing 100 million of your own people. Similar to Pol Pot and Joseph Stalin and all the murderous thugs who practice their own brand of communism. You got the Bolsheviks, then you got the Mao Zedong people. And I really hate Godard, who's into Mao Zedong. And he even promotes Mao Zedong in one of his videos. There are actually people like that around here who carry Bolshevik flags, or they worship Mao version of communism, which means kill everybody. Leave no enemies behind. There's an enemy in every corner. Okay, the film has a linear chronology with events spanning from 1937 to 1959. That's right. Right around the time period when the communists took over China, invaded Tibet, and Dalai Lama had to flee. That was his only choice of survival. Communists were going to kill him. Why? Because religion is poison, according to Mao Zedong. He wants to get rid of all the Buddhist temples in China, erase Chinese culture, and start his own. All right. The setting is Tibet, except for brief sequences in China and India. It begins with the search for the 14th mind stream emanation of the Dalai Lama. All right. So the Dalai Lama keeps reincarnating himself 14 times. And when the previous one dies, then they got to look for a little kid who's been reincarnated by giving him a test with the bell and the eyeglasses and the bowl. If you pass the test, then you're the Dalai Lama. You're reincarnated. That's proof. So I think it was just luck, but I'm not a Buddhist. I dated a Japanese woman who was Buddhist, and that didn't go well, and I told her I didn't believe in reincarnation. Anyway. After a vision by Reting Rinpoche, the region of Tibet, several lamas disguised as servants discover a promising candidate, a child born to a farming family in the province of Amdo near the Chinese border. They're extremely poor, though, because they haven't had crops in 5 years or something, according to the movie. These and other Lamas administer a test to the child in which he must select from various objects the ones that belong to the previous Dalai Lama. The child passes the test, and he and his family are brought to Potala Palace in Lhasa, where he will be installed as Dalai Lama when he comes of age. But he's still barking orders when he's like 3 years old. During the journey, the child becomes homesick and frightened, but he's comforted by Reddy, who tells him the story of the first Dalai Lama, whom the Lamas referred to as Kundun, title of the film. As the film progresses, the boy matures in both age and learning. After a brief power struggle in which Redding is imprisoned and dies, the Dalai Lama begins taking a more active role in governance and religious leadership. Meanwhile, the Chinese communists, recently victorious in their revolution, are proclaiming Tibet a traditional part of Imperial China and express their desire to reincorporate it with the newly formed People's Republic of China. Eventually, despite Tibet's pleas to the United Nations, the United States, the United Kingdom, and India for intervention, Chinese communist forces invade Tibet. The Chinese are initially helpful, but when the Tibetans resist communist reorganization and re-education of their society, the Chinese become oppressive. Following a series of atrocities suffered by his people, the Dalai Lama resolves to meet with Chairman Mao Zedong, the Butcher of Beijing, formerly known as Peking. While Mao publicly expressed his sympathies to the Tibetan people and the Dalai Lama, he insists that changes must be made as the Dalai Lama sees fit. Relations invariably deteriorate. During their face-to-face meeting on the final day of the Dalai Lama's visit, Mao makes clear his view that religion is poison and that the Tibetans are poison inferior because of it. Sounds like Hitler's master race. Upon his return to Tibet, the Dalai Lama learns of more horrors perpetrated against his people, who have by now repudiated their treaty with China, and they begin guerrilla action against the Chinese. So why did he compliment socialism? And now now they're butchering his people, including but not limited to forcing the monks and the nuns to fornicate with each other. Sorry, I just heard the mailman come. I'm going to go see if he picked up my Kundun disc. Hang on. By the way, I'm dressed up because I had a valet parking interview that went very well. But I don't start until next month because the graveyard shift's not available yet. So just got to go through background check and drug test, and I got my second job. Hopefully it's just Tuesday and Wednesday, my rest days. The rooms, the cheapest room goes for $450 a day. And the way the mailman picked up my mail. So hopefully I'll get some nice cash tips. don't know if I want to risk watching movies while I'm all by myself. With all these rich guests. It's right across from the Chase Center, which is where the Golden State Warriors play basketball. Sounds exciting. I'm stoked. I'm ready to go. I want to make same amount of money that I was making back in April. It shouldn't be too hard. All right. Upon his return to Tibet, the Dalai Lama learns of more horrors perpetrated against. Okay. Already said that. Okay. After the Chinese make clear their intention to kill him, Dalai Lama is convinced by his family and his Lord Chamberlain to flee to India. So the rest of the movie is him fleeing to India. After consulting the Neichung Oracle, which is this weird-looking chubby guy in some kind of I don't know. He's in some kind of pagan outfit or something. That's what it looks like to me. Looks like a pagan outfit. This oracle guy, and he looks like he's possessed by demons. But he consults with the guy about the proper escape route. The guy's like a shaman or something. The Dalai Lama and his staff put on disguises and they slip out of Lhasa under cover of darkness. During the arduous journey, throughout which they are pursued by the Chinese, which I never saw, the Dalai Lama becomes very ill and he experiences two personal visions. First, that their trip to India will be propitious, and that similarly their eventual return to Tibet will be propitious. I guess his vision didn't come true. He's not the holy, his holiness or whatever they call him, because he's still in India. The group eventually makes it to a small mountain pass on the Indian border. As the Dalai Lama walks to the guard post, an Indian guard approaches him, salutes, and inquires, "Are you the Lord Buddha?" The Dalai Lama replies with the film's final line, "I think that I'm a reflection like the moon on the water. When you see me, and I try to be a good man, you see yourself." Once the Dalai Lama arrives at his new residence, he unpacks his telescope and he steps outside. Erecting it and removing his spectacles, he gazes through it toward the Himalayas and toward Tibet. The film concludes with two lines printed on the screen. And that's it. I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to tell you which lines appear. The project began when screenwriter Melissa Matheson met with the Dalai Lama, and she asked him if she could write about his life. He gave her his blessing and his time for interviews that became the basis of her script. Matheson later suggested that Scorsese be brought in as a director. Most of the film was shot at the Atlas Film Studios in Ouzazade, Morocco. Some scenes were filmed at the Karma Triana Dharma Chakra Monastery in Woodstock, New York. Sorry, I'm having trouble with these words here. A little too complicated. All tracks were composed by Philip Glass, whoever that is. I don't care. They interview him in the bonus features. Part of the reason why I didn't get around to doing a movie review until today instead of Sunday was because there were too many bonus features. I don't care about you, Martin Scorsese, lamestream, Hollyweird, leftist kook. Before the film was released, China's leaders hotly objected to Disney's plan to distribute the film, including the point of threatening Disney's future access to China as a market. Uh-oh, you're going to shut the door on Disney. Disney's steadfastness stood in stark contrast to Universal Pictures, which had earlier turned down the chance to distribute Kundun for fear of upsetting the Chinese. Scorsese, Matheson, and several other members of production were banned by the Chinese government from ever entering China as a result of making the film. Oh no, they showed Chinese atrocities against the Tibetan people. Terrible. Chinese retaliated by banning Disney films and pulling Disney television cartoons. Disney apologized in 1998, of course, because they want to build Disneyland, for releasing the film, and they began to undo the damage, eventually leading to a deal to open Shanghai Disneyland by 2016. Cha-ching! Former Disney CEO Michael Eisner had apologized for offending Chinese sensitivities. Oh no, calling the film a stupid mistake. Well, that's the only honest thing he ever said. He went on to say the bad news is that the film was made. The good news is that nobody watched it. Here, I want to apologize. In the future, we will prevent this sort of thing, which insults our friends, from happening. So he's saying it was a stupid mistake, not because the movie was lame, but because it was a financial flop and it was insensitive to the Chinese authorities. What a goofball. And he's criticizing the movie for all the wrong reasons here. As of 2021, the movie is unavailable on U.S. streaming platforms and can only be watched on DVD in that country. The film is, however, available on DVD and on streaming platforms elsewhere. So if you're in China and you want to watch Kundun, your only option is to come to the United States and get the DVD, I guess. The film failed at the box office, taking less than $6 million in a limited U.S. distribution. Kundun was nominated for 4 Academy Awards for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, and Best Original Score, Philip Glass. I thought the score was annoying. One thing I do like about Buddhism are the Buddhist chants, especially the Doctor Who episode, John Pertwee's last one with the spiders. What was that called? Oh man, I gotta look this up now. But they keep saying mommy pommy whom, mommy pommy whom. Love John Pertwee. Planet of the Spiders, that's what it was called. I love that. That's when he regenerates into Tom Baker. In the second episode of The Sopranos, titled 46 Long, Christopher Moltisanti and Brendan Filoni see Martin Scorsese outside a club, to whom Christopher says, Marty, Kundun, I like it. Marty is is a dipstick, and so is Christopher. The movie inspired the writing of the 2008 song Chinese Democracy off the album of the same name by the hard rock band Guns N' Roses. Terrible. In 2007, the web series Lasagna Cat featured the film's complete score in the hour-long episode 7/27, 1978, in which John Blythe Barrymore delivers a philosophical monologue about a Garfield strip published on the titular date. So that's everything you wanted to know about Kundun. Everything I hated about Kundun. I like how the Buddhist monks are able to do their chants in a really baritone voice, like, oh. I didn't like the ugly Buddhist paintings, man. Looked like some kind of demon painting, demonic religion, Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Fooey. Anyways, I saw Stephanie a couple times in the morning. She was happy to see me, all excited as usual. And the ugly 51-year-old white woman who always helps me load my van every morning, she says she's going to help me find a wife. That'll solve the problem of having to find a new place. I posted another link on Craigslist, and got this guy calling me trying to sell me a rental unit in Daly City for $1,500. And I kept telling him I'm looking at the pictures. He kept asking me if I looked at the pictures. I said, yeah, I'm looking at the pictures, but I can't afford $1,500 a month. Bye. So that was, Karate Man's in the chat room. It must be early. I'm not in a suit. I'm just in a white shirt and a tie. I had a valet parking interview, which I nailed. And yeah, so I'm going to be working there next month, hopefully part-time on Tuesday and Wednesday. And hopefully I'll get lots of cash tips. But I'll definitely be in a better financial situation next month. Finally. Took me like 5 months to find a second job. That other bus driving job was a joke. They wanted me to pay $700 to the union up front, and then $800 a month, over $800 a month in union fees. And then they wanted me to interrupt my my son's timeshare. Speaking of which, I've got to go pick up my son pretty soon. I'm supposed to have another phone interview at 3:00 today, but I'm going to take off this tie. I don't usually wear a tie except when I'm on a job interview. You never see me on this channel with a tie. That's the fast food guy. What's his name? Running on empty. That guy. All right. So I think I'm going to wear this shirt today. It's my $50 white shirt. So what's happening, Karate Man? I added one of your recommendations to Netflix. It's way at the bottom. I think it's $4.99. That John Woo. Woo, there it is. And then I forget the name of it. And then I added another one of yours. I guess I'll go through my list now that I have Karate Man here. Because of his stuff is on my list. Hopefully I can get to Jack London soon. Karate Man. Hey, he's at a loss for words. He saw me in a tie. All right, list time. And I lied about what I was getting this week from Netflix. So I better go through that too. All right. Jack London, 1943, The Monster Pedrius Blancus, 1959, The Crawling Hand, 1963, Invasion of the Animal People, 1959, The Jungle, 1952, One Body Too Many, 1944, Blood Warriors, 1993, Screaming Tiger, 1973, The Wild World of Batwoman, 1966, Queen of the Amazons, 1947, Hell Up in Harlem, 1973, Snow Beast, 1977, Platoon Leader, 1988, Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Reluctant Carpenter, TV episode 21, 1955. Mercenary Fighters. There's a Karate Man recommendation, 1988. The Buckskin Lady, 1957. Stormcatcher, 1999. The Taking of Beverly Hills, 1991. Ooh. Got a frog in my throat. Too much popcorn. The Master, 1959. Bedside Manor, 1945, a.k.a. Her Favorite Patients. Dark Mountain, 1944. The Crater Lake Monster, 1977. The Giant Spider Invasion. Stick, 1985. The Forest, 1982. Phantom from Space, 1953. The Dungeon of Horror, 1962. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. Damnation Alley, 1977. Shadow Warriors 2. Assault on Death Something. Karate Man knows the correct movie title. I don't remember. 1999. Law of the Jungle, 1942. Blake of Scotland Yard, 1937. Kansas City Confidential, 1952. The White Cannibal Queen, 1980. Windjammer, 1937. Swampfire, 1946. Police Story 4. Blood Ring, 1991. Hostile Country, 1950. Rotor, The Wrong Road, 1937. You Bet Your Life, Identity Unknown, 1945. Chained for Life, 1952. Untamed Women, 1952. The Case of the Christmas Pudding, 1955. Sherlock Holmes, TV episode 23. Texas, Brooklyn, and Heaven, 1948. Beast from Haunted Cave, 1959. Moon of the Wolf, 1972. And Hurricane Smith, Rare 90s Action, 1992 VHS rip. Oh, Karate Man left the room. All right. Well, Karate Man didn't have much to say. Or maybe he hasn't said anything yet. All right. Let's check out Netflix. So if you're Buddhist, you're not allowed to see an ant. And what else? You might be reincarnated into an ant if you're not the Dalai Lama. If you're Buddhist, you can have nirvana. And they do that stupid thing with the mandala. Oh, I hate that thing with the swirling colors. and sand, painting, and then they brush it away. It's a decent looking piece of artwork that they use with colored sand, and then they just brush it away like everything in life goes away, except for the Dalai Lama. He keeps reappearing all the time. All right, My Man Godfrey, 1936, is arriving on the 19th. Wednesdays, that's Friday. Delayed arrival. The Seahawk and Sergeant York. I'm not getting the Val Newton double feature this week. I said I was getting that, but Netflix decided to ship me My Man Godfrey instead. Anyways, nice to see Karate Man in the chat room. He's checking out my channel again. He was on vacation for a week. Came back strong with 2 recommendations on my Video Violence 2 comment section. How many comments did I get on Video Violence 2? It's got to be my one of my most commented videos ever. Let me pull it up so I can see. There's Snow Beast. It keeps popping up on my YouTube. The first page, Snow Beast, 1977. All right. So here's Video Violence 2. How many comments does this have? I'm scrolling down. 19 comments. Whoa. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Karate Man, Professor Quiz, and Adrian for commenting on Video Violence 2, which, of course, Cinema Snob hated both movies, but he's doing it in a sarcastic manner again, which is kind of funny. He makes all the points about how bad that it is, but he doesn't realize that it's one of those so bad that it's good type movies. He's just being sarcastic and mean-spirited toward the entire film from beginning to end. It's quite funny if you watch it. So, anyways, looking forward to that new job. Valet parking attendant. I got one of my problems out of the way. I made about $2,200 in 2 days on Robinhood, Friday and Monday. And then today I lost a lot of money. How much money did I lose today? Let's pull up Robinhood, see what it says. It was not a good day on paper for me. But I better check my emails. And I got a phone interview supposedly in 6 minutes. I don't even remember what the interview is about. But if nobody calls me like by 3:15, I'm going to start doing grocery shopping instead. It's not the first time where I had a phone interview and nobody called me. All right. So Nicardo was down today, but it's still up like 35% since I first bought it. I lost about $542.48 today. So had 2 really good days of making more money than I do in 2 weeks at my current employer. Oh, here's 69mega.com. Looks like the same kind of stupid spam bot stuff that HDXYZ used to post in the chat room. Remember that, Karate Man? Are you still there, Karate Man? I guess he got scared of 69mega.com and he took a hike. The one and only, the man, the mystery, and the myth, Mr. Karate Man. All right. Well, I'm up over 40 minutes on this review. I think I'll let it go. 1 out of 5 stars. Not highly recommended, not check it out, skip it. Laters.